Hello, this is Adair Belton Show, or Gnomes Are Yummy. Today we are having a match between Obi Van Dame, yes I know, ridiculous name, the red Protoss up in the top right, and down in the bottom left we have another Protoss, the blue Frenzy. Because Protoss v Protoss at the start is so damn boring, I'm going to explain a bit about this. So, basically, me and my brother, or my brother and I, are going to be doing lots of these for both Warcraft and StarCraft, and this is merely because we need something to do with our addiction, and this is a great way of getting Dad to not notice us. And, you know, he gives us support and all that good stuff. So, putting out a pylon here, and there's not really much to say, to be honest. Yep. Any scout going out at any time? Placing a... No, I thought he was going to place a pylon back there, and that's to check if the opponent has placed a pylon there, and then they can possibly warp in units. But no one has, because obviously there's no probe there. So these probes are both going to scout, and they are going to meet in the middle, say hello to each other, exchange friendly words. So it looks like it's gonna be a 12 gate on both sides. Yup, gateway there, and gateway there. Just as expected. More boring old Protoss. Yeah, I play Zerg, so I'm not exactly enthusiastic about the whole set starting zone thing. So goes in and is going to see the boring build, the absolutely nothing new build. The Protoss build, I would go so far as to say. So anyway, we have these little probes being built here, and probe on probe conflict. Yes, the most thrilling micro of the game. So no, on the same note here, this gateway here, and an assimilator so he can gather Vespene gas. Don't know if he's going to use that for Stalkers or possibly Immortals, because that's usually quite a good bet when you're up against Protoss. And these probes are going to see each other. So I think this probe is going to the Zelnaga tower to grant sight. Yep, they're trying to claim the Zelnagas. And so is this probe, so we're going to have mixed ideas, I'll call it. And this probe going back here to build a pylon to check if there's any sneaky moves. I would expect the same. This side's cybernetics core, so plans possibly to get warp-ins to instantly summon units wherever he has power. It's also a faster and more efficient way of doing it, or of summoning in general. So another pylon here, and probe running round. And at the moment it seems pretty equal, so this came out first, but however, he has no probes on there. So no Vespene for a while, which means no warp tech, which means no instant summons, which is not so good. And we have our first Zealot out here. That Zealot could actually come in at this point and possibly do a bit of economic damage, but that's highly unlikely because, well, you know, Protoss and rushing are two words that are never used in the same sentence. I noticed this. Zelnaga is being claimed by Frenzy's probe, while this one has been claimed by Obi's probe. So, at the moment, pretty even sight for both of them. It just depends. There's probably going to be more attacks from Obi going over, and more attacks from Frenzy going under. And if you really want, sing the Scottish song about the high roads and low roads, which I'm not going to do because I'm not going to make myself look like more of a fool. And he appears to be just summoning Zealots, although he's a bit short on cash at the moment, possibly sentries. Yeah. Getting a robotics facility, which means that, yes, and he has his extra simulator, so yes, he is probably going for those Immortals. And that's assuming that Frenzy goes for a Stalker build, which is looking likely because he is in fact building a Stalker. And two gateways coming out here, and a forge, and that forge is in fact building ground weapons level 1. Upgrades are quite important in Protoss v Protoss matches because the units are both quite durable, and there's a lot of head-on-head confrontation because both slow, powerful armies. So it's usually quite profitable to keep building upgrades. And the probe is on his lunch break. He's a very lazy probe. Oh no, he isn't. He's walking around. Nope. Building a robotics. So we have another robotics. And that's probably to get an observer to spy, because Protoss are nosy little bastards, you know. So we have this coming out, and he has enough to make an immortal? No, not quite. But he is making an observer, which is always useful because then you can see what they're doing, and he has warp tech on the way, and well, there does appear to be a warp gate building somewhere. No. Yep, here. No. I don't know what that is. Ah, warp gate tech. Okay. So you'll probably see these being turned into warp gates now, and then maybe a pylon being built down here. Or maybe that'll be later. I don't know. You should be chrono boosting out that, because... oh no, he doesn't have quite enough energy. Nope, he will. And these are turning into warp gates, so lots of nice summons. And another warp gate being built, so let's look over here, and we have 2 warp gates, so he's going 2 gate as opposed to 4 gate, as Frenzy is over here, and there are these 3 little zealots, and I missed the confrontation there. I think, having watched this replay before, it was just that stalker trying to kill a zealot and failing miserably due to this army here. Possibly a warning sign that you should start building stuff. So this immortal is in fact coming out, and we have a warp gate up. Sadly he is supply blocked, so sucks to be him. Building a pylon there with his little probe. Maybe should chrono boost out something, I don't know, waste some of that power. And here we have the observer, who's just popping in to say hello, even though no one else can see him. He's a very sad, lonely kid. And this army is coming over here to do absolutely nothing, because there are only 2 stalkers and 2 zealots versus 3 stalkers, a sentry, 2 zealots, and an immortal. So they are going to get horribly owned if they attack. However, no doubt they are going to give a little poke and see what they can find out, which is 1, not a lot, and 2, they are probably not going to get much out of it, except for maybe a couple of cut knuckles. Actually it's Protoss, I don't know what they get. Gonna cut laser metal hides, I don't know. Should be transforming this into a warp gate, but doesn't appear to be doing so, and should be warping in stalkers. So maybe he's just gone for a coffee, I don't know. He likes coffee. No, he is warping in. And he's warping in a zealot. Should really go up here and take out that probe, because lets him get more sight if he puts a probe up there, and also, well, takes away about 50 minerals. Okay, big deal. But anyway, lots of zealots here, an immortal and 2 stalkers. And I will see the army sizes now, so... actually, Obi is ahead in economy. He does have an observer, and it's 3 zealots to 6, 2 immortals to 1, and 4 stalkers to 2, and a sentry. Lovely sentry. So at the moment it's not looking very good if they were to have a head-on-head. However, Frenzy has gone 4 gate, and so can quickly bring in extra units, and has his extra immortal out. But nothing seems to be happening, really. Not on the unit side, possibly teching up. Yep, getting a Twilight Council. Probably intends to get either Stalker Blink or the Zealot Charge, which just means that they can quickly get in on those Stalkers and just surround them. So, yeah. Zealots like running around all the place. All the place? That makes no sense. I don't know how to say that properly. Anyway, whatever. Everywhere. That'll do. So selecting those units there, possibly going for a little poke, see what he can find, which is a huge gaping wound, because that is not going to really defend at the time. Oh yeah, I see he has his observer there, so I can see that he could quite liably do some damage. this observer is going out to scout at the moment, so, you know, see what he can find. And this army is going to go out, I think. Nope, they're just going to secure that expansion and put a pylon here so they can warp in units in defense. And no, actually I lied, they were just waiting for some extra units. So they are going to come. Yep, okay, so that observer has found them and is going to follow them, and Frenzy knows he better get his ass in gear, so summoning some zealots, which will possibly help dampen the death blow. No, it doesn't end now. It's about halfway through, so obviously not the death blow. But here we go, ground weapons level 2, so that is a nice bit of extra damage. That's 14 versus armor, and 9 over there on the side blades. So that could help to even the odds. And it looks like they are going to attack, and those zealots are sadly out of position, and that zealot is going to get so horribly owned. Those sentries even are putting up shields there, and those immortals have to take down those stalkers. Look, okay. Immortals just go through those stalkers like that. They're just not there. So they need to focus on that, and then wait till those immortals have their health taken down before concentrating on them, because otherwise they will just waste shots, and a shot from an immortal is quite slow but very powerful. Should possibly focus on that stalker there. And gotta warp in, gotta take these away, and no, are they gonna make it? And one of them makes it, but the other does not. So more zealots have been warped in, which is what I was talking about, the 4 gate, and they are just going to finish this off. And look, the shield is down, and now the other immortal is laying into him. So do some damage here, and I expect them to run like hell, or like Protoss, as Protoss tend to run. Possibly warping in extra units, but we'll see how the army is back here. So they've already got another immortal, and they are transforming warp gates, and appear to be warping something in, which would happen to be, oh, over here, a proxy pylon. So yeah, they have power here, which means they can warp in, which is very useful, because then you can get a nice big army quite close to the base with minimum runtime, minimum runtime, and also it's just nice to have power, because you can get more map control and stop your opponent from expanding or doing all that stuff which people like to do, along with win. Win is nice. Should be warping in more of anything. Yeah, selected it. And he's got his observer here, so he sees that there are mortals and zealots, and because he does have, Frenzy does have the upgrades, probably the best counter is just zealot spam. And if I'm not correct, I think that is actually what he is doing. He does have those upgrades now, so that is 10 damage on a 1.2 cooldown, which is a lot. You have to times it by 2, because of course 2 pokey side blades, which is always nice.